booth thing, so I haven't gone over there. Oh my God, it's right next to the road,
I went up and measured, it's 15 feet.
from the center of the road, not 25. Yeah,
Oops.
that's crazy.
That loops around, and goes up into the dooryard. But if we have to make them move it, then
Which we
now's
do,
the time, because they still got the equipment up there.
right? Well, if it was a real contractor, he would know that you can't do that. Do you know what I mean? If he's ever built one before.
Yeah, they don't know.
Well, they're gonna learn this time, aren't they? So cute.
No, I did some stuff with them a few years ago, seeing the trash out.
So she just lets you know. My mother's cat used to.
Yeah, so we gotta have some ice.
These people were.
Are we gonna start?
It's after 7.
Lee's
Like
just
this.
driving in, she's just coming in.
That guy spent so much money. On
Yep.
You send those stuff that way.
You still know these.
All right, I'd like to close the meeting to order. Thank you all for coming. Who's here on Zoom tonight? Nancy Reed. Thank you for coming. All right, so it is 7:03. All right, we'd like to look at the minutes and approve the minutes for the August 3rd Selectmen meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review them?
Yep.
Excellent. I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes from August 3rd.
I second it.
All in favor? Oh, great.
No. Washouts.
It's sad when the weatherman says, but there'll be periods of no rain. That's the good news they give you.
Yep.
Minutes. All right, we want to approve the warrant. Warrant number 28 for 22-23 and warrant number 3 for 23-24, and the payroll warrants August 9th and August 16th. Yes, Lynn.
I had a late invoices turned in today, so there's a warrant number 4 also.
No, sorry. And there's a warrant number 4. So I probably haven't seen that. Is that in? Oh, it's in the one I just looked at.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the one.
What came in late today?
Neil Farms and Johnson Excavation,
Okay.
and they know I'm not happy.
Mhm.
Because I do my Wednesday.
They were enjoying the periods of no rain, so they could get some stuff done. And just look at those bills too, but now.
Absolutely.
Yep. Great. Oh, no, sign me back, that one's great. Pass it down to Lee. All right, reports, do we have any information from RSU?
We got a second.
We need to,
Got a second on the warrants.
so I made a motion and Kathy, second. Kathy, that was your second?
Yep.
All in favor? Okay. Is there anyone with any information from RSU 10?
You know what?
All right. Road report. Howard Road obstruction.
I hope Bim would be here to tell about that.
Who?
Bim.
I went up and I measured from the center of the line to the wall. And it's 15 feet.
So there's been a new rock wall built on the,
Oh,
near the end of Howard
15
Road.
feet
Some
in
people
center of the
bought
road.
that property and
That's pretty
have
close to the edge of
plans
the-
to make it, I think, an Airbnb and a function center of some sort. Scuttlebutt, nothing in yet, but they put in a rock wall right next to the road, which it doesn't give us, we're supposed to have 25 feet from the center of the road to the end for our,
Depending, of course, on which road. Some are 33, right?
Yeah. but the minimum is 25 and it's not, it's 15. It's, you know, the plow's gonna hit it, car's gonna hit it, it's not good. So, I know that Leanne did a whole bunch of, thank you so much, did a whole bunch of research, which is in our packets. And, also in our packets was, some drainage or obstruction of public ways was also some things that applied to, the other property, Julie's property, about obstructing ditches and stuff too purposely. So it's very interesting. So, but there are penalties. We can send a nice nasty letter, or the select board or code enforcement can go up and, talk to the people first. And if that doesn't work, then we can have our attorney send a letter.
I think he's been up. I don't know if he's been up or not, but I think it's Benny. It's telling me that Scott knows about it, but
Didn't we understand, from just last night that, Scott is maybe not the best one to do this because he's concerned about deeds to road right of ways and the like. We heard this last night. We weren't there. You were there.
No, right, but it's our road.
Right, sure enough. So I guess my thinking is that in a case like this, we're probably better off to send them a well-written letter than to just send the code officer out. On the hopes that the code officer will catch them when they happen to be off and so forth.
Well, my concern is if somebody doesn't get up there, as Kathy said, the equipment's there, we write the letter and send it out, and it goes to whatever mail of the new people, if the title's even been changed to go to the new
Well,
people.
I hear that.
So I'm thinking that,
probably the letter would be the best way to go first.
yes, but you see,
and
then
see
it
what
could be,
happens.
if that letter, goes to these people just bought the property, is that correct, Leanne?
Mhm.
Do we have the new information yet, or is it still
The
under the
address?
old?
Oh, they bought the property a little while back.
Mm.
Is it a local address or is it a?
No, I think they live in Portland, I think.
So, I guess I didn't really understand about, getting up there while the equipment is there. It's probably not a bad thought.
I think they live in Portland. And they might come up on weekends.
In a case of
Al?
that, could you stop work on it, so they don't go too far? So they don't call. Then they would call you,
We don't necessarily have the number.
but you free for work, stop work on
Yeah,
it.
He's already got it all done. The walls all done.
He's there, like he's saying that it moved out, then they got paid to come back and do it again, move it back.
Yeah, I think they'll just have to move the wall. We don't. They'll probably end up just taking the rocks out. And sloping their lawn like it was before.
Well, what steps as a select board, do we want to take? I think that we need to notify them as soon as we can, because it's a
This
violation.
fellow sent-
Can we go back to what we heard last night and maybe you could straighten me out. We got others here, at least one other here who was there last night. Did we not understand that Bim had spoken to them?
Yes,
I mean, I guess, has he actually spoken to them? I know he said he took some of his road marking paint and wrote in the road.
yes, I think he spoke to
What
him
the
and he
rules?
told them that they had to be back 25 feet.
They marched.
And they said they
Well,
didn't realize it.
That's more or less what he did. He wrote it on the road. That nothing was, the 25 feet, but, so if he's spoken to them, then somebody from the town has contacted.
The contractor, from my understanding, he talked to the contractor. The guy building the rock wall, who was not the owner.
Yeah, okay, and the contractor may or may not have passed that along.
Considering he's the one who put it there, right, and didn't know the rules. I mean,
I'd say write the letter, tell them that they have to move the rocks. And if they got any questions, to contact us.
that we're gonna need to give them, do we wanna say 33 feet, or is that road a 25-foot road?
I believe what Jim said, was 25 feet.
Okay. So,
Although, there's always a little research to be done on those subjects, the actual, whether it's a 3-rod road or a 2-rod road.
3 or 4.
There can be 4-rod roads.
That's the big one.
And they're all different.
we could write that
And
letter,
they are.
but we could also, if I worked with Leanne, we got that letter. I wrote that letter tomorrow, and you guys would just, I could even draft something quick tonight, so you guys could see it. Send the letter out, and I'd be happy to go tape one on their door, so if they are up here this weekend, the mail's going to Portland tomorrow,
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
we'll just put copy.
Well, there's always a catch with quickly drafted letters.
What's that?
There's always a catch with quickly drafted
You
letters.
want to refer to the law and.
I think that a quickly drafted letter is risky business because you want to make sure that you are, as Leanne said, following the letter of the law in
Yeah.
all of this. So just scratching something off.
I hadn't planned on just being silly willy.
No,
My thought was is that we would have them
come.
come to the town office and say, it has been brought to our attention, it's gotta be a 25-foot rule. And any further information regarding the laws can be found at the town office, please contact us ASAP. Something of that nature that makes them stop doing and know that they can move
Well,
that.
I guess I would suggest that including, maybe not as much.
Well, you had
detail
just
as
said
we
that you
found
thought
out.
they might be up here on the weekend, so I was just trying to catch
Yeah,
them
no, I hear what
quicker
you're
than
saying.
sooner, and just sending it, but. Hey, we can wait a couple of weeks and pass around a few times you guys want. Yes.
David, if I
Thank
may
you.
speak, I'd like to say that, is there already a structure like close to the road from center line, like 15 feet, is that what I heard?
A large rock wall has been built just recently, right next to the road, yes,
And that's already a violation?
yes.
So they should be told, and that needs to come down right now, we don't know past the 18, 25, or 33. But take it down, and you're gonna have to reposition it.
The lease saying you gotta have the book paid, the number basically with the law stating everything to the Steve, so back and come back and say,
And well,
yeah, that's not-
Right, because
But if
we
it
have a number of things in our packet that are from the Maine Municipal Association, which I think is probably not the part to include, but the part about, a part that is in state statute might want to be included in any letter that we send.
In the fines.
Mhm.
And the fines, yeah.
And this is Howard Road we're talking about. Okay.
Yes.
I say go out there and go from there.
I just thought if we sent them to the town office, if they're up there this weekend, they'll be able to prepare their schedules to be able to figure out what's going on and give them a heads up.
Oh,
You see your notes saying you're in violation with this.
Already.
I can,
Exactly.
I'm sorry, that's on.
You do.
That's why did we just call? That's the most.
But you have tomorrow off, you want me to come?
Right, it didn't occur to me to suggest calling because for a lot of landowners, we don't have a
Gotta
telephone.
get the letter ready. They should, town office should have everybody's phone number.
I know, but it doesn't always
That's
happen that
not how
way.
it works.
They don't update it, they might have a landline and now they have a cell phone, unfortunately.
And an awful lot of people, I mean, if you look in the commitment book, there's tons of people for whom we have millions.
Can we agree that this letter, a phone call can be made and a letter can go out next week when we're well prepared with every I dotted and T crossed
Mhm.
with a statue in there and. Great,
You wanna
agree.
vote on it or just
Yep,
I make a motion, we send a letter and we make a phone call. The letter will include the main statute that tells them that they're in violation with the fine involved, and that they need to move the wall as ASAP. They're in violation.
Yeah.
Who seconded it?
Yep, I'll second it. All in favor?
All in favor? Also wanted to mention under the road report, Ben mentioned last night that we are getting monies in on many of these roads, and that money, I just want to reaffirm that that money will be spent on the roads that the grant money or the FEMA money is meant to go to. So that is exactly where it will go. All right, constable report.
Steve Ellison, and my constable report is, so far this month, I've given out 3 notices for parking without permits. Talked with 3 people, I picked up 5 trash bags and garbage out in the parking lot, the surrounding area, the parking area, down to the walkway, did all the mowing, the weed whacking, and I talked with the code enforcement officer on the phone because of all the saplings that have grown up on the edge of the pond. I want to make sure I wouldn't get in trouble. So I've been working on some of that as well, and he said I can put it back to the original condition that it once was. Because I'm not ripping roots out, but you know, some of the stuff.
It's one of those acorns kept.
Some of the stuff
holding
that
it.
just stay around, that grew up, that's taken over the beach from where some lessons ended all the way up to the old. bridge.
Trestle.
Yeah.
So I've been working on that and dealing with people leaving behind kids' toys and clothes. I don't know what lost and found or how long I should let it sit there before I throw it in the garbage. But during swimming lessons, I'm thinking there was a bag of trash that was left, big black bag of trash that was left by the fence on our side that separates us from the Pine Shore side. And something got into it, and it was wrappers like, you know, foods and lunch, kids' lunch stuff, and it was all over. I cleaned that all up.
Yeah, it's probably something somebody picked up, but they didn't carry it away.
So I picked out the other 5. I got pictures of it. I took it to my house, put it in the garbage truck to take it. It was 5
Thank you.
trash bags of trash.
Hmm.
Soda bottles, cans, little nips, and, you know, piles. I was weed whacking. I hit a pile of human feces. That was not nice.
No, of course not.
Socks used as napkins to wipe the bottom. That were few of those.
How do we feel about that lost and found? Do we want to put anything at town hall or just throw it away? Does it, been out, lost and found, he said he's found clothing and toys, shoes.
Yep.
I mean, do we want to maintain a lost and found box or?
Thing is if you leave it there, whoever comes along and wants the next to take it, they usually are taking it. The kids with other toys that are being left behind.
Yeah.
I'm sure the same kid that owns it, he comes back together. So another kid take it home. But how long do I let it sit there? How long should it be? There should be like a bit of a rule for that, you know. If I go down there one day and there's kids' toys there, and I go back the next day and they're still there, I should be able to take them and put them in the garage and somebody cleans them.
I would leave them at the beach, like all the kids play with them.
Right,
Well, I mean,
I'd get a laundry basket, put them in it and leave it there. So that somebody can play with it because somebody left it.
That would be my take on it.
What's
But,
that?
yeah, that would be my take on it on, you know, on shovel and pail and beach ball, stuff like that. On the other hand, you know, shoes and socks and stuff like that. I mean, somebody might be coming
a
back.
pair of sneakers are 60, 70, 80 bucks. You know?
No doubt.
A pair of sneakers are still there. Decent, your kids, you know, size 7 or 8, decent sneakers, and jacket. And,
But see, the only way they're gonna know where it is if we keep posting, hey, look, now we have this, now we have this. Is that really what we want to spend our time doing?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Those-
It's hard to say. Boy, people would probably really appreciate it.
But there's a lot
Yeah.
of glass and there was a lot of cigarette butts. And like I said, I spent a lot of time picking this crap all up and bagging up and getting it out of there and the surrounding areas. Found a lot of them. I was weed whacking off to the side of the tree areas and.
Yeah, they're stuck there this spring too.
Here the next day, hopefully the people came and retrieved it and along to. I told Leanne about it, and we'll get it, we'll put it in there and she'll do something to find out who owns it. And then it was gone.
Whoever, hopefully whoever left it.
Yeah.
Went and got it.
So.
Hopefully, but not for sure, but.
Yep, but
it was right
people have
next
to be
the-
responsible for their things. They leave them somewhere. It's gonna,
Have something in the water and drag it out. Nothing fancy, but.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when the water came up, there was stuff floating at Bear Pond too.
that's about it.
Yeah.
We're pretty quiet. We you know, rain and stuff, and actually, the day it was wicked hot. We went down there, and nobody even there, I was shocked, I'm like.
Hmm.
Not that complain, no.
Thank you very much. So if I get a laundry basket, we can put toys in it and at least have a home spot for it while it's down there.
God
Instead of
knows there's
just-
laundry baskets.
Somebody could steal the laundry basket.
Could be, but then again, so don't go spending a lot of money.
No, I wasn't. I was actually
Offload
gonna go to
laundry basket.
Goodwill and see if they had one there.
There's one sitting outside the dumpster, somebody stopped by last night and brought up, a neighbor who said that, there was a white pickup truck there and they left off a whole bunch of stuff and among them was a laundry basket.
I was thinking something like, something from either Goodwill or Dollar Tree.
It was a red, white, blue, and a white top.
Yeah.
I can see it myself.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
But there was a pair of Vermont plates, so we probably moved from
So if
Vermont.
I bring a basket down there and put whatever toys are there now in it this weekend, then,
You got 'em?
and I have a sticker, so you won't be saying notice on my truck, on my car. Right, well, thank you for all that work. Appreciate that. All right, CEO report, which we got. And anyone that picked up the email got that too? No?
I didn't get a CEO report. He submitted his complaint log to you guys. But whether it's a report or.
But she's only required to do it once a month, so, okay. All right, any ACO report yet? I will send her a reminder to make sure she gets something in. All right, planning board report, which we do have. And I did see that you had a notice. We have a public hearing coming up. That the planning board is meeting down at the new development on August 28th. I think it's at 10 a.m. And anyone that is interested in going, I'm pretty sure Larry Drury was going to notify Bear Pond Improvement Association, but I'll make sure I send an email over to them too. So if anybody wants to come from them. So, does everyone have a copy of the planning board report?
That's minutes,
Okay,
Minutes from Vermont.
right? It's not. I only hear the reports, like treasurer's report, reports that are written, road report.
She don't
Minutes
hand
can
them
be
all out.
requested if they want to.
okay, yeah.
And also the minutes are on the website.
Okay. I'm just breezing through it since it's on the. Okay. On to ordinance committee.
Bonnie Bishop for the ordinance committee. We met for the first time last night, after the, annual town meeting. All 5 members were present. We held elections. And, then we discussed, the nose spray issue that was passed to us by the select board. And in follow-up to that, we're gonna contact CMP and see if we can either get some type of meeting or have a Zoom call so we can have clarification on what they're doing for spray or not doing for spray on the state roads, and also look into what other towns in this area or further out are doing. And then we also discussed the work done from the center of the road, whether they are 3 rod roads, which are 25 feet, or 4 rod roads, which are 35 feet. So, as that came up last night, pertaining to the Howard Road obstruction, it looks like that may be something that we're going to be working on too.
Which would be to write a clarification
Um,
ordinance to say, for not just the state, but this is the rule here and for
Have
Hartford.
that date for 25 feet on the.
Yeah, it's 25 feet, which is that on Free Road Road, but it's actually more like 49.5 feet. Is exactly what it is from the Free Rod Road out from the center. And then the 4 Rod Roads, it's 35 feet. Oh, like Church Street is a 4 Rod Road, for example. I'm not aware of the other roads, which ones are 3 rods and 4 rods. Like I told Viv and Jeremy last night, they're kind of experts on all this, and I'm learning, and I will learn about it.
But the minimum is 25 feet from center.
It is.
Mhm. That's
That
the
is the
minimum.
Yes, ma'am, regardless. And our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for September 20th at 7 p.m.
Thank you very
Thanks.
Thank you. Any fire warden information?
Yeah,
Have we got them to sign any agreements yet?
no,
That they'll be the fire warden?
no.
Can we give them a call, or I'll give them a call, or Kathy or Lee will give them a call?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Treasurer's report. This is bank reconciliation. And we're gonna have stuff we wrote in June show up in July's anyway, because of the new year, right? Like stuff we wrote at the end of the month of June will show up in our July reconciliations anyway. I'm just
You mean
talking about
checks?
checks, yeah,
Yeah, all in cash. But
yeah. So this past month, we made $4,955 on our interest capitalization from the sweep account. Sweet. That's really awesome. At the bottom of this page, it says missing 9681.33.
you ask me this every time
I know, I'm gonna,
money is transferred in and out of sweep.
yeah,
So if that amount is in the bank statement, but not in the sweep statement, it's missing. So I have to make an
you have to
adjustment.
actually
So
say it's
now
missing, yeah.
it'll show up next.
I want to ask again, everyone got that? That's why it's missing. And it says missing. And nowadays, it's the select boards around us. If you have money missing, I just want to verify that you guys know where it went. Sorry. All right. Is there anything else I need to know about this? Or we all
I
do?
think so. The last warrant I did for the new year, I
Mhm.
started paying out of Anderson instead of, out of Northeast instead of Anderson. There's still a balance in Andrew, but I'm gonna wait for the checks to clear. I might have to void a couple of old ones. And then we'll transfer the remainder over to Northeast.
Awesome.
I have a
Yeah,
question.
just a minute.
Whenever we look at the treasurer report, we see if there's an outstanding checks, and some of them have been outstanding for quite some time.
There's a few that I reissued, like to Brandon and Scott. I've reissued them and they still haven't cashed them, so I'm gonna just wait them. That's
Because, I'm assuming they were written on the Anderson.
yeah, so I'm gonna have to take care of those before we close.
What is up with that?
And they're less than $25, so I can't send them to unclaimed property.
Yeah,
And we happen to see them all the time. They ought to.
so it has to be greater than $25 to be sent to unclaimed property. I mean, it's tempting though, isn't it?
That's why I reissued them and I was gonna go through the process, but they're too small.
Yeah, sometimes the chief loan check is like, almost like. I get $8 back from my insurance company $8. Oh, nice. Nice
Yeah,
of them to give me a discount compared to the size of my insurance bill.
Right.
It ain't much, but it's still $8 and it's sitting in my purse because what do you do with an $8 check? Make a special trip to the bank for it? I don't think so.
Banks aren't close by to Hartford. All right, sanitation over expenditure. So we got the bills in from Archie's. And we had budgeted a little near 20,000 and it came back at 20, let's see if I can find it.
25 and change. 25,009 and something.
Over by $4,190, yeah, $90, something.
Yeah, total bill was $45,041. So what account do we pay the difference from?
So we have 3,000 in contingency that we haven't used, and we'll have to.
Because this is from previous year.
Right,
Right.
so we could use that 3,000, put the rest on the warrant next year. As overextended, or we could put the whole amount on the warrant next year to take from fund balance. But we might as well use that 3,000.
You know, I mean, if we can still access that 2,000, that would at least bring it down to somewhere near reasonable and put the rest of it on next year. I mean, people are used to every year we have over expenditure in solid waste
Yeah.
because that curbside trash.
And that'll bring it to $1,000 and something, and that's not bad. Can you mute him?
Guys,
Is that Richard?
was trying to get the wrong person.
Who is on now?
Polly is on, Anita Lewis, Lenny, and Nancy.
Nice.
So I need to make a motion?
Yes.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we use the $3,000 in the contingency fund to pay for the sanitation overage and then take the remainder of $1,190.73 and add it to next year's warrant for next year.
I second it.
All in favor? Great. All right, fund balance policy.
I haven't worked on it, I just printed out a few
I
samples.
saw that, yeah, and I glanced at it, but I haven't had a chance. I mean, some of them are pretty extensive. I haven't.
We
had a
can
chance to
table
digest-
this to the next meeting.
I haven't had a chance to digest all
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Why don't we take
I
time
was, I was a
read-
little bit
read
shocked to
through it?
see how little some towns have in their fund balance. It's like,
Oh, it showed the amount, I haven't read them.
at least one of them.
Thank you. for
Well,
doing
at least
research.
one, I don't remember which one it was. I
And-
don't remember which one it was, but I was just sort of flipping through there and one of them had, had some numbers and it was like, oh, $9,000 or something. It's like, good God.
And you're coming into an audit. Will the auditors make any comments or suggestions? Or
Oh, yeah, they always do.
They've certainly want to see us have a fund balance policy. That much is for sure.
okay. So I would like to move the fund balance policy topic to our next select board meeting.
Yep, sounds good.
Great.
Mhm.
But it's not even million.
Oh, yeah, we just all have that line.
They're way better than.
Yeah,
Well,
really.
on the other hand, which town was it? I
I
mean,
was
we're
gonna say
talking
it could be
about,
Bridgeton or,
Bridgeton,
we're talking about which.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Brunswick. What do you want?
it's a sample policy. Okay,
So,
tax
but they did put the
foreclosure
numbers in.
deadline is August 17th, that's today.
So I sent Mr. Blanchard that letter with all the fees. He called the lawyer called me. And Mr. Blanchard sent an email to Kevin Crossman and the town office today asking. Sorry, I sent it off, asking to. Contract with a realtor to sell the property. Cause he was explaining that he would get,
right.
The balance.
Right, with the new law.
and
that
I
they
answered
have
back
choice.
that when the form is available from the state, we will send that to you formally, have you request.
Right.
How to
Yeah,
sell
yeah.
properties.
Great.
He seems,
Excellent.
sounds okay with it.
Hmm,
You know, after all we've been through,
Yeah.
you know, I
So-
mean,
Well, which means we'll get our money back.
We'll
There'll
have
be
to
a
have a
good
minimum-
chance.
Yeah, really, yeah.
presumably, so, I gotta say, you know, I was, when you said that he contacted you and talked to the lawyer and stuff like that, I was sure you were going to say, and
good,
he wants a special dispensation or
Yeah.
something, it's
Yeah.
like,
Again, right?
honest to God, I'm so relieved.
No kidding, that's
And we
awesome.
didn't, you know, we got another bill from Kevin Crossman for $150. That wasn't in the letter, because I got it after the fact, but we'll just put the
And
minimum.
No, we'll just have
Add
to
it on.
tack that on,
Yeah.
because, you know, when the
Yeah.
real estate agent sells the place, it'll be. it'll go
Interest
for more
changes
than-
every day.
It'll go for a lot more than is owed.
Yeah.
I feel certain. So we just have to make sure that we bill for everything that we deserve. Because that's all we really want.
All right.
Folder with all the proof.
Well, we had some salt shed savings. Would you like to explain that?
So we took some money out of the salt shed savings in the last fiscal year to help pay for the door
Repairs,
repair.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it only left $29.98, I think, in the account,
Yeah.
which is costing us money. They're charging us a service fee of $1 a month. So can I
Because
close?
it's under a certain
Yeah.
amount.
So can I close that savings account and just put it into our bank account in a reserve, a separate reserve?
I don't see why not.
Noted
see.
for the salt shed.
Right.
I mean, especially if you're gonna be putting it into a reserve.
yeah,
Yes.
No problem.
Well, I like the idea that we try to get as many things under our umbrella that's noted to where it's supposed to go versus having all these outliers and other accounts we
Now,
gotta,
that is in Northeast,
Yeah. Yep, so I'll just,
saving us a pile of money, but they're still gonna send us fees any chance they get.
so I'll just transfer the money to
Yep.
our checking and then put it into a reserve account for the salt shed.
Nice.
great. Do we need a motion for that?
Probably should to close that bank account.
I move that we authorize Leanne to move the salt shed reserve monies into
Salt shed savings.
the salt shed savings account into the general account
I second that.
to be designated.
All in favor?
yep. Good.
Okay, cemetery committee report. Is there anyone here from the cemetery committee?
Secretary Committee. Joel looks like he worked at, Blake Cemetery. There's a brush cut, I tried calling him, he didn't answer, and I get the post and the sign for Blake I picked up today, because the post was rotted off. Gotta get a new post. So Joel got the brush, but you can see actually a rock wall from 219.
219,
Where that cemetery is.
We got the rush.
out in the field.
Oh, Blake is the one that's
Oh,
You got the brush.
in the
from
Beaver
wall?
property.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, Joe told me he was gonna work on it, so I assumed he did it.
I'm gonna do it in front of the problem.
So what did you use to cut the brush from that?
Oh, man, well, we got these here that I grew up before in street.
It didn't look like a bush hog, but then I see a pine tree that was like completely straight, it's still standing straight.
Well, it's an hour, that she did, it. I don't remember when we tried it. I've been talking with.
Yeah.
Hand loads.
I got one that was 4 inches round in front of, right over here the other day, in front of the guy's stone,
Yeah,
and pine, and, reed, the big reed stone, the reeds.
Yeah,
And I use those cutters, I go around the place, it's nice.
yeah, but pine is a lot easier to cut than some other
yeah,
things.
So it was quite wet, I didn't dare drive my truck across the field, I walked across, and see where the track was, had the hay.
Yeah, it's
That
not
made the run.
getting any drier either,
It's
is it?
not getting dry.
No, but they have all that.
Keith and his grandson worked at Fuller Cemetery, also known as Bear Mountain Cemetery, cleaning and straightening some
Right.
stones there. So that's the only news that I have for you.
Good one.
So Leanne, he'd like to pick up a new 4x8.
I need a 4
Post.
by 8 post. So. That come out of cemetery committee funds, or that come out of general funds?
Well, it would come out of cemetery reserve, right?
There's some in the, we're going to street posted down the garage.
8 foot?
Well, talk to them first. That's his
Wood.
area.
Wood.
I tried tracking him down and passed him a couple of times. I'll get a hold of him.
Yeah, it's not that easy to get on.
We're gonna.
So up to.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thanks for working on the cemeteries, kids, and the beach.
You'll see it.
All right, solid waste committee report.
Bonnie Bishop, the Solid Waste Committee. We met, a week ago, and as we had 3 members present, we had a quorum. So we had an election of officers. At the time, we had not received an agenda of projects to work on by the select board. So in general, we talked about, the bulk waste pickup, and that the issue would not being picked up. And also we discussed the Labrador Pond Road dumpster. So, so like I said, we'll be waiting to see exactly what our assignments will be on the solid waste committee. And the next meeting is September 13th at 6:30. Thank you.
All right.
I don't know what we could do about that dumpster.
Well, there you go, and,
Oh,
So,
Al,
I think if you can actually go down the road, I don't know who was involved putting that dumpster there, but they go all the way down to the bottom where Texas used to live. That's a rough road. Her road is a piece of cake compared to that, so I don't know how that can go, and they're bringing the garbage from the mountain view down to the bottom of that hill for the guys to pick it up. So I don't see any reason why they couldn't drive up to her road and pick up the garbage right in front of their houses. And get rid of the dumpster.
I don't either, really.
Get rid of the dumpster. That had to be put in there by somebody within the town thinking they didn't want to truck up that road, maybe, I don't know.
no, there were numerous problems.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I do, because I live in that neighborhood.
Maybe somebody didn't want to truck, turn it around or something, but that dumpster should have never been seen. Not when they can go down this road. I'm 6 kilos on the bottom. That's pretty rough.
So Al, are you gonna, will you police that site once the dumpster is removed to make sure nobody dumps trash there and bulky waste?
Hey, you live right there. You're part of the
No,
town. Should be your job, Lisa. Put it in your car, bring it down here, and put it on here.
I'm not talking about my trash. I'm talking about once the dumpster is gone, what's gonna happen to that site?
but I think it draws people to put things there.
Say
No dumping.
$10,000 fine and you get caught. If you don't put a refrigerator in there, guess what? Your fingerprints are gonna be on. Call the sheriff's department. But that dumpster should have never, what I see, the dumpster should have never been. But anyway, you talk to Archie and have a pull it.
I talked to Melissa and asked why we don't go down that road, and can we?
Oh, yeah, well, if you ever drive down.
What did she say?
Mountain
She
View,
said she'd have him get back to me. She said, because before they didn't have a good place to turn around. I'm like,
They can turn around at Adams Road, and they can turn around at the end of Lee's Road.
right, why can't they just turn around at the end of your driveway?
yeah,
It's all one direction, and
Well,
you've got room, the plow turns around down there.
Well, winter's a little different for a number of neighborhoods. Susan's neighborhood doesn't have a dumpster right now, but they have one in the winter.
Yep.
Am I right?
but
Correct.
she's policing, she's picking up stuff. But
Yeah, I do it every week to keep the landowner happy.
it's, I mean, this road I'm talking about is serious, it goes down. And I drive it down.
In Davenport,
Long-term planning is protection,
He's talking about the Davenport Road.
part of it, what. All of you, like I said, they bring the garbage down off of.
yeah, it's a dead end road.
Yeah. I don't see the difference, that's steep, you get down the bottom there in winter time.
Yeah. I'll call them again tomorrow and see, Melissa asked if there's a reason why they couldn't put their trash at the end of that road, and I said, that road's miles long. Why can't we contract with him as we have before and have him drive down? If it becomes unpassable in the winter, we can come up with a solution, whether it's a
Because if we.
dumpster or.
Because people put their trash at the end of the road, once they set the trash out there, and you can say, oh, they should carry a can down there and leave it and then take their cans back. Well, the cans are gonna live there all the time and they're gonna get knocked over. And if people just set their trash out in trash bags, unless they happen to make it.
No,
up
we
there,
understand. They're gonna get into it.
It's
All of
gonna
us
get
have
tough.
trash
It's
pickup.
gonna-
They get into mine at the end of the top of the hill, but at the end of my driveway.
Yeah.
And
I was
right now they
surprised to
do.
see trash twice, in the, the big ones, the over. I don't know, it's gotta be, I don't know, maybe they should put it out in the morning.
That's right, that's right. The people who live on the desert way, are out there early in the morning putting it out. Because you cannot put your trash out in advance and hope that it won't get torn into, because we share this town with lots of,
Sure.
wild.
And it's not just
wild
yours. There are
residents.
people can't put their stuff out. I can't put mine out the day before. I hate putting it out early in the morning because they don't pick it up till after 4. And I get there and if I get home before the dump comes, my trash can's knocked over by either someone's dog or a coon or a bear. I mean, I have a rock on it when it's in my yard, but I put it up by the road and they don't want all this stuff on top holding the cover on it. Even though the cover can lock, whatever's getting into it knocks it over and takes the cover off. So, not all the time, but it can't be just my house and Lee's house, I'm sure. It's other folks. I just pick up the trash and put it out.
What else?
Okay, so the goal would be to get them to go down and
Ask
pick up
them
your
what they say.
trash, and if there's a reason why he can't, and then seasonally, if he can't get down there in the winter, then it should be like the other locations where we put a dumpster out for
Winter.
Christmas, Thanksgiving time through,
Yeah,
Memorial Day.
when the dumpsters get set.
yeah. Right. Usually when the roads are unposted.
See what happens.
Okay. All right, calendar reminders. The town office is closed Monday, September 4th for Labor Day. Is there any other calendar reminders besides meeting dates that we have coming up?
It's gonna be something else.
Inspection, we already mentioned that.
Yep,
Mud
the
season's coming
inspection
up.
that the planning board's gonna be doing August 28th down at off Bear Pond. Okay, unfinished business, bulky waste, we actually just did that, right? Open session, anyone have anything they'd like to? Alan,
Yes, I talked to Scott Knowles about the junkyard ordinance and stuff. And he recommended not turning a bunch of people in with messy yards or junkyard because the town can't afford to pay for litigation. Which to me, you're never gonna fix the problems in this town if you don't move forward on these things. So it's only gonna get worse because people know that they're not gonna get in trouble. I mean, I don't agree with it. What's gonna happen here, and this is what I see is. The town is not gonna go after the people, but people are gonna go after the town if you don't start enforcing your codes. They can sue the town if you don't enforce your code. Either way, you could pay litigation. You know, some people think they're obvious, but they're really not, they're just live in the whole system. So that's just the way it is.
well, Scott usually does reply to complaints. He doesn't usually, it's not usually proactive if he sees.
But he recommended not. You know, I said, look, if we go through with this, you'll end up with a lot more complaints, and we don't want to pay all that litigation stuff. Because, you know, he knows that these people are wrong, he doesn't want the town.
Well, we're not gonna continue to allow people to start new junkyards and not. And we can't just enforce the rules for new people putting junk on their yards and trucks and multiple vehicles that aren't registered.
Can't just.
Right, I mean, rules should be for all and not just for some.
Every time a new person got into that position, I said, when you get there, you should go automatically and go straight forward to everything. Don't waver. Once you start wavering, then you lost it.
Hey, are you done? Thank you so much. Yeah,
Please get
and Lee is next.
Yeah, brought up 2 or 3 meetings ago now. That, the former town manager of Buckfield, who actually had experience with, prosecuting junkyard violations, had offered to come and speak with us. And I guess I would like to reiterate that, reiterate that offer and suggest that it would be a very smart idea for us to hear from this fellow.
I actually have no interest in hearing from Glenn Holmes. And the reason is I think he's a very smart man, but enforcing the rules is gonna cost us money. And if we sit back and let every excuse to say, well, we can't enforce the rules because it's gonna cost us a lot of money, then we might as well just let Rodney Harlow and anybody else that wants to run a junkyard, why are we even asking for them to follow the rules? Because we're not gonna have a rule for one and not the rule for everybody. This is not gonna be, we pick and choose.
Nobody else.
Right,
He's the only one in compliance.
and you know, when I go to Bear Pond Variety or somebody else and they joke about how Hartford just allows everybody to do everything, am I supposed to just agree? Oh, you're right. Because we're not gonna litigate, we're not gonna take any money, we're not gonna enforce the rules. If that's the plan, let's vote on it and we'll just have no policy and let people do that. Is that the plan? Is that what our people want? Because I'm thinking. Ken,
I think consistency is important in any organization, in a town, in a business, you know, consistency is key. You know, at least if people think you're unfair to everyone. You're not consistent with any policy regarding people, then you're viewed as being partial. So I think they need to be consistent on any ordinances that you have, any personnel issues you have. It's important to be consistent.
there was a complaint on Berry Road and there's multiple cars and that are part of a garage and you can't just push them down over the hill and say, oh, you can't see them, so you're done. The complaint was served and when I go by there and it's supposedly it's finished, when I count the cars, I'm hoping to heck that means that the cars there are registered and there's less than 3. Otherwise, why have code enforcement then?
Consistency is key in any policy, in any personnel issue, any people issue. You need to be consistent.
You know, I think, I'm not saying that every time someone has more than 3 cars on the yard, we should go attack them. I'm just saying we have a rule, we send a notice, something. Okay, Lenny, would you like to go?
Well, are you talking about junkyards? Or are you talking about messy yards? Or are you talking about property maintenance standards? Because, you know, I mean, some people have 6 lawnmowers in pieces in their yard, and some people have, you know, piles of wood and dirt. You know, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the state statute for junkyards and what they say when we took our ordinance down on what we're supposed to be using, so.
So
we're just trying to
you're
follow
only
the,
talking,
we're
so you're
trying to-
only talking about junkyards. Okay. And
whatever the
people
state
are,
statute says.
and did I hear that there's an objection to Scott Mills' interpretation of hobbyist? Are we not trusting our code enforcement officer?
I would question it. I don't have the ways to talk to your attorney in the town. And, I tried my best to get any free legal advice that I could. And one of the things was go down to the Oxford County Courthouse and file a complaint there. That was what I was told against the town. So, you know.
Ain't there a difference between junkyard and messy yards?
There is, when we eliminated our ordinance,
No.
our ordinance for local junkyards or whatever, it's because we were gonna be following the state statutes. It was the same thing. So the rules for the state is what we're supposed to be following. So, but we don't have a local ordinance, so we're following the state ordinance.
If we have local, it would have to be more strict than the state, so I can't go under. So,
What is the state ordinance?
It's pages long.
Furniture has the best mattresses on earth. Chapter 11 furniture delivers same day.
What is the state ordinance?
It's all online, state of Maine
Furniture
slash.
on Main Street in Lewiston.
Oh, okay.
Who's speaking?
It was Nancy.
My neighbor that sees lawnmower parts when Rusty's running his little business. Okay, is it
I have something.
Oh.
With them.
for open session?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Efficiency Maine would like us to sign this agreement for the rebate. And if we don't get the grant or decide not to go with this company, it can be null. But there's deadlines. The deadline to file for the rebate is end of August. The grants aren't released to the end of September, so they don't line up. Anyway, it's up to you if you want to sign up.
Of course we do.
Rebate.
I should imagine.
yeah.
I put the chairman's name.
They're the only spot.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, new business, key policy. So, with the new, with the fixing of the town office, Leanne and Barbara will be moving town business here. And in preparation for that, the door locks have been changed. The front door lock is different, and we were unhappy with the door lock we made the change for prior to this. So there's a new keyed lock here that you can actually lock and unlock so people don't, it can
So
be,
you
open.
you can actually let people.
right, it can be
you can Close the
unlocked.
door and let people in. Let people
Correct.
come in.
Yeah,
But but is it also still,
it does. It
Yeah,
sells a
yeah.
breakaway.
that's what we were looking for in the first place.
Exactly. So, so that's been changed. That old door lock we're hoping to use in the lower building, which is brand new. So it would, since we needed to update that one, we'll probably use the same. During when,
Everyone has keys to that.
to that side door?
So the old.
Oh, well, it might not work then. So, while the town is, Leanne is operating town business here, we're not gonna be renting out the hall or using the hall besides for meetings. And no one will be, besides the select board, will have keys or access to the building, because everything in here, has got to be kept confidential. All right, so, but since we've already redone the keys and we didn't really have a good list of who had what key, where, when, who was coming in and out of the building. I think it's a great opportune time to set some standards for who's gonna be able to have access to the building. And, just my thoughts, not knowing the history of keys here, is that, we know when our town people are having meetings, and one of the select board members is usually here at those meetings and can let them in. And then when we have functions here at the building, after you guys move back, then, we will be giving whatever the function person is, the key, or opening the door if they're using it when we're here, and so that keys are not spread throughout the community, and we can keep a better handle on security for this building.
So are you saying that the chair of various committees will not have a key?
Correct.
Okay. And so not even like the planning board chair would not have a key.
Right. So, oh, go ahead, Leanne.
Doesn't sound like a brilliant plan to me.
Oh, she took it down. Someone
Okay.
have it.
So, we don't have to do it that way. I'm just suggesting that because of so many break-ins and so many things here in the hall that
Break-ins
can be
in the hall?
damaged. Pardon me?
Break into the hall?
I don't mean ours. I mean across the region. Open the paper, watch the news. It's happening everywhere. I'm just trying to create a secure building. And we have equipment here and things here and vandalism. We don't want people coming in and vandalizing this like they did the church. And I think that the new locks are great and we ought to be cautious. If somebody needs to have a key because no one's gonna be here, then we can take that on a case-by-case basis. When I was involved in my prior church before I moved, when we had meetings that were after when the town hall it was open. So say planning board meets on a Monday, the town office is open on a Monday. Leanne leaves this side door open when she leaves the office and when Peggy and the group leave and I'm gonna try to attend planning board or the select board, whatever, one of the selectmen can lock it or Peggy can lock it when they leave.
Yeah, which is what happened Monday. It was fine. I
Yeah.
checked it. It was locked.
Yep, and we have ordinance, we've got bulky waste, not bulky waste, excuse me, solid waste. And same thing with cemetery committee. Do you currently have a key to the building?
Have key, I don't see the need.
Have you not been able to have meetings?
I just need the end the day before, if the office is gonna be open, and then I return it the next day the office is open. I don't wanna have a key.
There's a few people that don't feel comfortable having key, because then they could be accused for something.
I would like to make a suggestion that even if you have events, I would, there again, consistency is important. Chairs aren't gonna have keys, event people that are renting a house shouldn't have the keys. So, you know, some accommodation would have to be made possible. Come and open it for them,
Yep.
some of them open it for them.
Well,
close it
the
for 'em.
people that used the hall this past weekend, Leanne thought they might be coming early and I said, hey, I'll come in and lock the door for them. But she was coming in early Saturday anyway.
We make some prior arrangements for events where people rent the hall, because that potential to me
Yeah.
might be greater than chairs. On keys getting spread around.
Well, there you go. So are these keys going to be of the more expensive do not duplicate variety?
They are not.
Don't look at,
And that's another thing. If we give out keys, it could be duplicated.
Anybody's key good?
Not the town. But
No, not the town office. But then again, this is going to be the town office, isn't it?
right, that's why you only need have keys. Because we are
Mhm.
trustworthy.
And that way we don't have people saying, oh, I lost the key, get me another one, or that way people have access when we give them access.
I didn't want to have the town spend the money for the,
Excuse me, what?
I didn't want to have the town spend the money for the other, you know, the real
When you get
security,
coffee.
when it's only temporary, it's only 2 weeks.
But it's a new law. Could we not take those keys and get the do not duplicate key thing on it?
You can change the lock.
Well, why would we change the lock? I mean, the lock has to do with the key or the key that says do not duplicate
Has to do with the law.
has to
But
do with
you
the
would
lock.
have to change those little ones out front too, and
With this lock that you replace and want to use there, they could rekey it. So you could still use all the hardware and they just change the tumblers. So that would be a minimal expense to reuse that lock.
But if we're the only ones with keys and we're letting people in and out,
Then.
I mean, we can always try it, and if it doesn't work, we can change it, right?
It's a good change.
Yep. Lenny?
Well, my thought is, given the difficulty you have getting people to serve on committees, do you really want to be saying to the chairs of committees that you don't trust them? Just a thought.
Well, as long as the hall is being used as the town office, then it has to be treated as such.
Well,
I'm not-
yes, that's different.
Yeah, I'm not sure after that, this is ideal policy.
well,
It really sounds negative. It sounds, like changing the nature of the town. I mean, I don't need a key and I don't care about it, but I'm saying, to me as a citizen, it sounds like you're saying, well, we're only going to trust ourselves. I lock the doors on my house all the time, but I'm perfectly aware that if somebody wanted to get in here, there's plenty of windows.
Leanne?
It-
Oh,
I
go
don't,
ahead.
I don't, it just sounds paranoid about people in our town.
Leanne?
It's just that I sit at the town office, we said this before, I see people going across the street, getting a key, coming in, getting water, several people all the time, it's gonna slow down though. And I have all kinds of election machinery in there, there's antique chairs downstairs,
There's a water system people could tamper with,
you
right?
know, if I was just a committee member, I wouldn't want a key, what if something was stolen, we had a piano stool stolen, an antique one,
That disappeared a long time ago.
yes.
But it did disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my piano stool, and I still think it's a bad idea to just say you don't trust anybody.
Bonnie?
I have no issues whatsoever with the four of you having keys and being the chair of two committees. All for it. Safety is a big thing this day and age. When that car looked over on Town Farm the other night, they tried to break into my bee shop, find a place to hide. So I'm all for safety and security because
She had me for my garage, and coming to my garage doors. I have to lock that door, I have to put a lock on the door coming into the family.
Yeah.
So she's getting to the point of.
it's good. I call see and see how it goes, but I think the more secure the better. All for it.
I agree with Bonnie, as chair of the cemetery committee, I don't feel offended in the least by not having. It's not
Rolled over.
the town not trusting,
No.
it's the right thing to do to secure the town property.
Or something.
David?
And back to the vandalism and break-in, so I don't mean to. On the classification of security is like, I bring my ladder, I can walk in this window, turn off an alarm.
Is it locked? Are these windows?
Even if it's locked, if I
It's
break
locked.
in, does anybody know I broke in?
The cameras that are on my.
You got that wrong.
There you go.
I'm just asking, yes, but we have to have some.
Okay,
That, that's right off the road.
Hmm?
Do it that right.
And the neighbors watch, they report.
yeah,
Yeah.
we all look out for each other, that's not.
They
the way it's
called me
supposed to
one
work.
night saying there's 3 boys on the roof over there at the town office.
No, when was that?
But now you bunch of
Couple weeks ago.
here, somebody broke in the town office. So, and you call and run it up the road, and that was like 30 years ago. That's why the big bars, I think. That was 30 years ago, somebody broke in the town office. Years ago.
I wasn't there.
No, she wasn't even born yet. All right, town hall use. Is that,
You pretty much covered it.
oh, good, that was about having you guys move over here and. Great. All right, Oxford County Commissioners Appeal. In our packets, there is appeal from Mr. Is it called Belleville? Bolia. And he has gone to the he went to the Androscoggin Board of Commissioners.
That would be Oxford County.
That could
Oh,
make us.
that's right, Oxford County, sorry.
County Board of
It's hard when
Commissioners.
when you have an address of North Turner, which is in
Yeah.
Androscoggin County.
They could tell us to follow that road.
They could. They could, I mean, they have appealed to the county commissioners, the decision of town meeting to not fix up, the
Damn,
Darrington Road, which, are we surprised? No. And the county commissioners could decide that we have to plow the road, in which case we'll have to have a special town meeting and take the money out of fund balance.
So the
Would
town
like-
commissioners can overrule
Mhm.
the meeting.
Oh, yeah. I believe so.
I think it just happened over Limor Falls.
Okay, definitely happen.
So I don't know if you want to submit a brief. It's asking all parties if they want to submit a brief on the issue. It's due by the end of the month. They are, I mean, I think Jeff. I think I gave them everything he asked for, the town meeting minutes. Petition.
Great,
I don't know what else you
Yeah.
want to give them.
I can, pull together the history of how long the road has been closed and that type of thing, and that we voted on it, it's been re-voted and turned down again, and so at least they've got the whole story from our side. I can get that, what, it's been over 50 years, but there must be a date on when we did it
Yeah, I have all the records.
originally. Okay. I will work on that on Monday. Unless
Are
somebody
you-
else wants to do it.
Are you two all set with those?
Lee, would you rather do it?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm happy to give it to somebody else.
So Lee knows the,
Might not be such a
History.
might not be such a bad idea to, submit it to the other members of the select board to read over before you submit it.
Of course I would do that.
Mhm.
You would get it by email, but you can write it. I don't have to write it. You have the history. If you're willing, I'd love that.
I don't remember when it was.
Leanne said she's got the, all the dates.
Yeah, I have it in my.
And I'll work with Leanne to do the one for the people with the rock wall, which you will get before I send it.
sounds good.
Thank you.
A briefing on the threshold question of whether the town meeting of the town of Hartford vote rejecting a proposed order to alter an existing winter closure order constitutes a final determination.
Within the meaning of.
So I don't know what we would say to,
Mm.
I mean, they have the.
Well, I guess the first thing we'd have to do is review the meaning of 2953(5), which is appeal, final determination by the legislative body or the municipal officers may be appealed to the Board of County Commissioners of the county in which the municipality lies upon 7 legal voters of the municipality within 30 days after the final determination is made. And this was done within 30 days, yes? In appeal before the Board of County Commissioners, the decision of the commissioners shall be governed by the standards set forth in this section,
So I don't know.
which is frankly kind of circular.
I don't know what they would expect from you to help them decide if it was.
Well, I'm not
final.
sure either. I'm not sure either.
Probably
Maybe
just
it
to mention how many years it's been
it says
closed.
In accordance with that section, and I just read that section, which, like I said, was a little bit circular.
Ken?
Is there a date that the county commissioners are gonna hear this appeal? Do we know when, or will we be notified as to when?
I'm sure we'll be
The
notified
public
as to
hearing
when,
is
but
set.
I think they need to take in all of their, everything, and all parties to this, includes everybody who signs
Sons.
the petition. Who were Josh Jasper, Peter Cassidy, Juanita Cassidy, Patty Card, Dale Jasper, Lorraine Parsons, and Kenneth Lane. In addition to, of course, Jeffrey Bollier.
I think it's mainly talking to the petitioners, because we're gonna have a Zoom conference.
Yeah, but I think it's, I don't know. I am willing to make a call to find out a little bit more. It does say, I thank you for your attention to this correspondence. Please feel free to reach out with any questions or concern. Don Dura. Just interesting because, the date to have this in by is August 31st, and of course, the caucus is on the 30th. So, it's waiting. Budget caucus, that is.
Any further discussion?
No, see, I will see, I'll give the guy, I'll give him a holler and see what he has to say.
What they want.
Yeah,
Thank you.
or whether in fact, the town, I mean, I can't imagine that the town is not considered a party to this, because after all. And it does say here, be a certified male board of selectmen. And to Jeffrey Brolia, I think we are a safe bet, a party to this, this commission has requested all parties submit briefing on the threshold questions. And frankly, that's a little bit for me to figure out right off. I mean, I've read it through a number of times and it's still not entirely clear on it. So I think that, calling for further information is a brilliant time.
Thanks. Tax abatement, on to the next item, tax abatement 2022, Leanne.
So last year when we were dealing with Mr. Harlow about the mobile home around the river. Around the Tom
Yep.
Farm Road, there's a river there. Isn't there a stream, a river?
Yeah, Brooke. Yep.
So I was concerned that he was maybe on town property, which wasn't showing up on the map, so I had the assessors make sure they put that little piece of property that the town purchased from Bob Russell on the map. Which created an account, which I failed to exempt from taxes.
That is, because when I looked at that, it's like, town of Hartford, what?
Well, I
What?
wanted it on the map, so you, Rodney could see where we owned. So there's $2.91 tax abatement. The town of Hartford.
Mhm. There you go.
I'll approve that.
Maybe notice it once I know, you notice.
Do I need to make a motion? I'd like to make a motion that we approve the tax abatement for the piece of property that we just created in the town of Hartford's name. Next to Rodney Harlow's property. Is there like a property number associated with that?
Yeah. it's
Yeah.
on-
I don't ever recall that we had to vote on abatements. I thought we just signed them and that was that.
No, you didn't vote on it.
Anyways, I
What's the-
second it.
Great. All in favor?
Mhm.
All righty. On to the next, appointments and resignations. Do we have any? No?
I know.
Great, everybody stayed on, excellent. Any upcoming trainings that anybody would like to attend? I see there's a mental health one that looks kind of interesting.
Where do you want to?
You did? Okay, yes, Bonnie.
Are there any trainings you could take to the solid waste committee or ordinance committee? Could be something like that, or more than.
Do it sometimes, ain't there, during the year?
There used to be lots of solid waste trainings, but they were aimed at operators of transfer stations and the like.
Check the MMA website.
Although I learned.
And we get emails too, so if I see any
I
of
learned a lot.
if you get me your email, or I can get it from Leanne, when we get them in, or there's some things that I get too that I'd be happy to forward to you. I get those great free courses from statewide Maine, so, okay,
About training for new callers. Yeah, I heard it, follow everything.
so you have a culvert that needs to be cleaned that hasn't been cleaned yet? Well, I don't see, did you put it in, did you fill out a complaint form?
I'm not.
Well, we'd like you to, it's not, it's just the process.
I'm seriously not going to. I've never lived in this town where I have to file a complaint and pull for cleaning. It's a health hazard.
Well, it's more of a notification than a complaint.
Tim is knowing more about it than you can fathom. He's blamed you for not being done. You blame him. I'm not playing the game. I want to pull for cleaning.
All right, so this is the only correspondence that's not new. Okay. The rest we have.
One culvert cleaned up.
Do we have a, I guess it's the procedure is a complaint form. Do we have a complaint form so we can fill it out tonight so we can put it in Bim's box?
Want me to go get one?
I've talked to them, we're saying you can fathom about this.
But it's hard for us to hold people accountable without. I am very sorry. I'm just trying to follow the procedure. The same thing with our CEO. When somebody has a problem, we,
How many people in this room, how many people in this room grew up visiting the church that I love? How many people? Seriously, this is a serious question. How many people?
How many people?
How many people have been across
Is
the
that
street
meeting
from
over?
the schoolhouse in the last 8 months?
um,
I went up one time last winter to lock the door.
The school.
I brought this to your attention, we're saying, maybe not you. How many people look through those windows
at the schoolhouse,
at the schoolhouse?
do we need to?
Oh, you really should. It's been brought to the attention of most people in this room. I've actually told you about it also.
Yeah, I've been up there.
There's some very large penises drawn on the walls all over, some antichrist slurs. I bought the church for a reason to preserve it. We have a shrine to that church in the front, and what's written on those schoolhouse walls is repulsive. I've been complaining about this for 2 months too. 8 months I brought it to the attention, more times than you can count. Ask for it to be cleaned up. Here's the conversation again, 8 months later. My children found it. My daughter was 11 years old when she found it. Took pictures of it, brought to my attention. I was in the town office. How many more times do I have to complain about this? It's repulsive.
Well, I appreciate that you brought it to my attention, and we're gonna fill out a complaint form regarding the culvert and the schoolhouse, and we'll have maintenance go down and
Clean it up.
take care of the walls, because we have a maintenance man. But we're gonna do it now, because we're gonna make it right now.
It's disgusting with on the walls.
I am,
Absolutely repulsive what's on those walls, and my 11-year-old daughter. And here I am again, complaining again about it.
yes, sir, and we're gonna fill out that complaint form, because we're gonna hold our maintenance and our road commissioner accountable, and that's the system we use on everything, is we have a, maybe we need to not call it a complaint form, a notification form, so that when people fill that out, we then know the next steps and who's doing it, and then we get back to the person who filled it out, and it says, this has now been done. Because
He's talking about how many calls he's got on my culvert. He's got many calls from the town office and culvert. I don't have the funding, he said. Over and over and over. Mike, I've gotten calls, I don't have the funding. And then when I finally get it, then he tells me, well, I'm not working on my farm.
and you need to, it clean, correct? So we're gonna get that in writing so that we can,
Beyond plugged up. There's mosquitoes everywhere. I have no immune system. I literally have a rare disease.
Yeah.
I there's no cure for what I have. So I get everything. I was back in the
Yeah.
hospital.
Okay,
But my
but
question
so,
is, it's a major health concern for me.
but we all have, yeah, you do need to understand that we've gotten an enormous amount of rain this year. We all have standing water on our property and in our ditches, unfortunately.
And I complain, fill out a form.
And did you?
No, you just need notice about
Because we really want you to follow this process. So, if I can, there's one online, or you can go to the town office and pick it up. I will make sure that both parties know about it. I'll even notify our maintenance man this evening, and he will put it on his schedule. And I appreciate you bringing
it.
this.
Schoolhouse stuff, you should have been thinking.
Yes, I just said we're going to fix it. Did I not?
I shouldn't have come to you to talk about it.
Well, if there's no complaint form, this is how we notify our departments as a select board and hold our employees accountable. So I appreciate your input. Would you please follow the procedure? And then I'll make sure that our employees follow the proper procedure to get this fixed. If you promise me that, I will promise to get things done by following the procedure. Yes, Al?
Let me just ask you a question. You say this, I know you're really in your heart, you want to do.
Yep.
You have to have a time to say, look, within 2 months, it's gonna get done, or 1 week. You can't just say it'll be done, because it could be a year or 2 years. So-
That's very helpful information. We can add that on there as a date of expected completion.
Right, you need to have,
Yeah.
you don't have to come back 2 years. People with complaints, over, so have to come back 3 years or whatever.
Okay, thank
know,
you.
So we need a date. When it's
All
gonna
right.
be done.
All right, so we have one last piece of correspondence from Maine Public Radio Television.
Uh-huh.
And it is a thank you for $100 donation. And that ends our meeting. Thank you so much for attending.
Should.
And